You know that feeling when you have to talk about money?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's a salary negotiation or uh, just trying to explain to a relative what you do.
Mm-hmm.
There's that specific tightness in your chest.
Well,
It's awkward. It feels taboo.
absolutely.
But
It's this subject that sits right at the intersection of, survival and social status. It's got this huge cognitive load.
we're just conditioned not to talk about it.
And yet our lives completely depend on it.
Right. So now imagine adding another layer to that. Imagine you're trying to have that same high stakes conversation, but in a second language.
Wow.
You're not just worried about the numbers, you're worried about the verbs.
Yeah.
You're thinking about prepositions while you're trying to advocate for your own worth.
That is a double hurdle. That can be completely paralyzing. You've got the financial anxiety mixed with the linguistic anxiety.
Exactly.
It just creates silence where there should be, a negotiation, a conversation.
And that's exactly where our deep dive begins today. We're looking at this fascinating source. It's called Lexicon of Livelihood, Financial English and Career Growth. And specifically, we're unpacking a guide inside it called How to Make Money in English. Now, before you tune out thinking this is some kind of investment seminar,
Or a get-rich-quick scheme.
right, stop. Because it is definitely not that.
No, not at all. Actually, what makes this source so interesting is that it goes in the complete opposite direction of all that typical financial advice.
How so?
Well, it's not about the stock market. It's about the words, the actual words we use to describe our work.
So the mission for this deep dive is really to explore how this source uses language learning as a tool for financial confidence. We're going to see how stripping away all the complex jargon,
The hedge funds, the amortization.
all of it, and just focusing on what the source calls basic money vocabulary,
Yeah.
how that can actually clarify how we think about our own value.
It's a really fascinating approach. The source material is essentially it's described as a calm motivational monologue.
Right.
It's designed to break down these huge money concepts into simple, realistic terms. And I think by the end of this, you'll see that it doesn't matter if you're learning English or you've been speaking it your whole life. Going back to the basics, it just changes how you view your livelihood.
I love that word, livelihood. It feels so much more grounded. So let's jump in. Let's start with this anti-hype approach. Because when I think of financial media, calm is not the word that comes to mind.
Right. You think of ticker tapes scrolling at 1,000,000 miles an hour, people yelling, buy, sell.
So much anxiety, red arrows, green arrows.
It's designed to induce anxiety. It's frantic. It frames the whole economy as this beast you have to wrestle every single second of the day.
But this source explicitly says its focus is not on getting rich fast.
Okay.
It says the focus is on, and I'm quoting here, realistic ways people make money in daily life.
Yeah.
It feels almost friendly.
Friendly and practical is the exact phrasing they use, and that's so significant. The source also points out that the content is delivered at a slow pace. Now, obviously, for a language learner, slow is great for comprehension. You need time to hear the sounds. But psychologically, slow lowers the stakes.
That's a great point. When you slow it down, you stop panicking about the outcome.
And you start understanding the mechanism. The source is shifting the focus from wealth, which is this, abstract, often unattainable mountain, to livelihood.
Which is daily.
It's daily, it's maintenance, it's manageable. So by using this calm, motivational tone, the source is basically telling the listener, hey, you belong in this conversation. This isn't just for Wall Street. This is for your actual life.
It demystifies the whole idea of earning money. It's like, let's just sit down and talk about how money actually gets into your pocket without the stress, without the FOMO.
And that removal of stress is the first step to fluency. And that's true whether we're talking about linguistic fluency or financial fluency.
Panic, you can't learn anything.
Your amygdala just hijacks your brain. You can't process new information. So by keeping it calm, the source keeps the learning centers of the brain open for business.
Okay, so we've got this calm, slow foundation. Now let's talk about the bricks, the actual words the source highlights. Because, again, they seem almost deceptively simple. When I first saw the list, I thought, really? That's it?
They do seem basic, but the simplicity is where the power is.
So the source gives this core vocabulary list: job, income, salary, skill, save, earn.
It almost sounds like a kindergarten list if you're not paying attention. But if you look closer, these are the atomic units of your professional life. You can't negotiate, you can't plan, you can't even dream about a career if you don't have a firm grasp on these 6 concepts.
That's so true. Like, take income and salary. I feel like people use those interchangeably all the time, but the source makes a clear distinction, doesn't it?
It does. And it's a vital one. Salary is fixed. It's what an employer decides to give you, maybe once a month. It implies stability, but it also implies limit. Income is broader. Income is the total flow of money into your life. That could be your salary, plus a side gig, plus selling something you made online.
That is a mindset shift right there. If you only think about salary, you're just waiting for someone to give you a raise.
But if you focus on income, you're looking for opportunities.
Exactly.
But for me, the word that really stood out in that list, just sandwiched right in the middle there, is skill.
I was hoping you'd say that. That's the one. It feels different from the others.
It is different. The other words are financial results or their actions. Skill is the cause.
Tell me more about that. Why is skill so important here?
Because so often when people talk about making money, they talk about it like it's magic, or it's luck, or it's just about showing up.
Or something that's just given to them.
Right. By putting skill right next to income and salary, the source is drawing a direct, unmissable line between your personal ability and your financial reward.
It's cause and effect.
Precisely. It's teaching the learner that money is a byproduct of a skill you possess. You have a skill, you provide value with it, and you receive income for it. That's a very empowering linguistic connection to make.
It moves you from being a passive recipient of a salary.
To an active owner of a skill.
That is huge.
Yeah.
It completely shifts the mindset from, I need money, to, I have skills that are worth money.
Exactly. And that leads directly to the practical application the source teaches. It doesn't just hand you a list of words. It gives you sentence structures.
The phrases, right? Like,
Yeah.
I work as, I earn money by,
Yeah.
and I want to improve my income.
Mm-hmm.
I work as, it's such a simple phrase. I work as a driver. I work as a nurse. But when you actually say it out loud, it becomes an identity statement.
It is. It's defining your professional existence. But then look at I earn money by.
Oh, that's the one.
That's the real game changer. It's not money is given to me when, it's I earn. It's active.
Right.
And it forces you to complete the sentence with the how. I earn money by fixing computers. I earn money by teaching.
It's active voice versus passive voice. But for your life, not just in grammar, you aren't just a passenger in your financial life. You're the one driving.
And that clarity is exactly what the source is aiming for. It wants the learner to be able to stand in front of anyone and clearly define who they are and how they contribute value. That's the aha moment.
These aren't just vocabulary words.
They're the tools for defining your place in the economy.
I love that. It's like building a house. You need the raw materials first, the wood, the bricks, before you can build anything. These words are the wood and bricks.
But you also need a blueprint, right? You need to know how to put them all together.
Which brings us to the structure. The scenarios and the grammar that the source uses to glue these words together. Because words alone don't make a conversation.
That's right.
So the source follows this really specific flow. It starts with why money is important in daily life. Then it moves to common ways to earn, like jobs or small businesses. And then, and I really like this part, it discusses the value of learning, effort, and consistency.
It's a very logical progression. It grounds the why before it even gets to the how.
And the how relies heavily on two specific grammatical concepts: the present simple tense and future intentions. Now, I know our listeners might be having flashbacks to high school English class right now.
Stay with us. This is not a quiz.
But why lean so hard on these two structures? Is it just because they're easy to teach?
It's more than that. They serve two very different but equally vital psychological functions.
Okay.
The present simple is for stating facts. I work as an engineer. I save money every month. These are statements of your reality. They ground you in the now. They convey stability.
So present simple is your foundation. It's where you are standing right this minute. It validates your current reality.
Exactly. But you can't stay there forever. And that's where future intentions comes in. The source teaches phrases like, I want to learn a new skill. I plan to start a business. I want to improve my income.
It's the language of ambition.
It is. If you can't use the grammar of future intentions, you literally cannot express your goals to another person. You're just stuck in the present. So by teaching these two side by side, the source is giving learners the tools to describe their reality and design their future.
Wow. That's powerful. It's not just subject, verb, object. It's reality, action, ambition. It's basically goal setting disguised as a grammar lesson.
That's a perfect way to put it. And speaking of reality, there's another detail in the source I found fascinating. It specifically covers how to talk about side income.
Yes. I saw that. It's not just about 9 to 5 jobs. It mentions selling things or small services on the side.
Which is a very modern. Even in what they call a basic language guide, there's an acknowledgement of the gig economy. It understands that income streams are diverse now.
Hmm.
It validates the idea that you might have a main job, but you also earn money by selling crafts online or driving or consulting on the weekends.
It makes the whole thing feel really current. It's not teaching you how to talk about working in a factory in 1950. It's teaching you how to talk about the hustle of today.
And that just reinforces that idea of livelihood. Livelihood is whatever you do to sustain your life. It's broad, it's flexible, and the language has to reflect that.
Right.
If the guide only taught I work in an office, it would just alienate half the modern workforce.
So, okay, we've got the tone, calm, anti-hype. We've got the vocab, job, skill, earn. We've got the grammar, present reality, future goals. But the source seems to promise something more than just linguistic competence. It promises a feeling.
Confidence.
Right. The core goal stated in the source is for the learner to feel more comfortable discussing money and work.
And that word comfortable is so key. Money is stressful. Speaking a foreign language is stressful. Talking about money in a foreign language is at peak stress.
Yeah.
The goal isn't perfection, it's comfort. It's about lowering that heart rate we were talking about right at the very beginning.
The source also mentions using these phrases in specific contexts.
Yeah.
At work, with friends, or when talking about goals. And that with friends part stood out to me. That's a very different vibe than at work.
It is. But it highlights that money isn't just a business transaction, it's a social reality.
Yeah.
Being able to tell a friend, I am saving for a house, or I'm learning this new skill to get a better job, that's a way of bonding. It's a kind of vulnerability. And if you don't have the words for it, you're just isolated from those conversations.
And think about the accountability there. If I say out loud to you, I plan to start a business, suddenly it feels real. I've put it out there.
Exactly. Silence keeps us stuck. Language creates momentum.
And that connects right back to that motivational aspect of the monologue. The source explicitly links improving your financial life with using natural English expressions. It's almost like it's implying that if you can speak about it naturally, you can achieve it naturally.
I think that's a totally fair interpretation. There's a concept in psychology called self-efficacy.
Right, the belief in your own ability.
The belief in your capacity to do the things you need to do to succeed. By giving learners the script, literally the script to talk about success, the source is building their self-efficacy.
So you're kind of faking it till you make it, but with grammar.
In a way, yes, but notice the values that the source embeds in that script. It doesn't teach you to say, I want to win the lottery. It teaches you about the value of learning, effort, and consistency.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's embedding a work ethic into the vocabulary lesson itself.
Yes, it's not just get money, it's earn money.
Ah.
It encourages critical thinking about your own value. It forces you to say, I earn money by, which requires you to identify the effort or the service. It asks you to articulate the value of consistency. So you're not just learning English, you're internalizing a philosophy of growth.
That's subtle, but it's definitely there. If you repeat the phrase, I want to improve my income by learning a new skill enough times, you actually start to believe that learning a new skill is the path to more income.
Which is a much healthier belief than, say, I want to improve my income by getting lucky.
Or by waiting for the world to change for me.
Yep.
Seriously.
It's empowering.
It puts the control right back in the hands of the speaker. And I think that's what makes this source so unique. It's disguised as a simple vocab lesson, but it's actually a guide to professional self-worth.
I agree completely. It just strips away all the noise. We live in a world of information overload, especially about finance. Crypto, stocks, inflation rates, interest hikes.
It's deafening.
And for a beginner, it's just impossible to parse. It makes you want to cover your ears.
It does.
This source basically hits the mute button on all of that and just asks, what do you do? What are your skills? What do you want to achieve?
It centers the entire conversation on the individual.
Yeah.
It makes it about you, not about the market.
And that is where confidence comes from. Not from knowing everything about the global economy, but from knowing how to describe your own contribution to it.
So let's bring this all together. What does this mean for us, for everyone listening? We started this deep dive looking at a source called Lexicon of Livelihood. We thought we were getting a language guide.
And what we found was a manifesto on clarity.
We really did. We found that by looking at finance through the lens of a language learner, we strip away the fear. We saw that the anti-hype approach, calm, slow, realistic, actually helps us understand money better than the frantic news cycle ever could.
We learned that the core vocabulary, job, skill, earn, are the building blocks of professional identity, not just words you memorize for a test.
And we saw how the simple grammar of present simple and future intentions gives us the actual structure to own our reality and then plan our future.
And ultimately, I think we saw that clear language really does lead to clear thinking. If you can say it simply, you understand it deeply.
That's the ultimate takeaway, isn't it? Complexity is so often just a mask for confusion.
Simplicity is the hallmark of mastery. If you can't explain your value in a simple sentence, do you really know what your value is?
Wow, that is hard. So here's where we want to leave you today, with a provocative thought inspired by that future intentions grammar we talked about.
The source teaches learners to just stand up and say, I want to improve my income. It's direct, it's honest, it's unapologetic.
So here's our challenge to you. If you had to strip away all the jargon, all the corporate buzzwords, all the complicated excuses, and you could only use the simple vocabulary we discussed today, job, skill, earn how would you describe your value to a stranger right now?
I earn money by... Finish that sentence for yourself.
Would it be as clear and confident as the source encourages? Or would you maybe find yourself hiding behind complex words? Because the simple truth is actually harder to define.
That's the question. And answering it might be the first real step to that financial confidence the source promises.
Think about that. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the language of livelihood. We'll catch you next time.